And one of the things this means is when you begin as a Christian thinking about the Trinity, you actually already have all the equipment you need in your mind and in your heart and in your experience. You've got all the pieces of the puzzle there. You just need to be able to see them all together to understand that what you're thinking about is the Trinity. Here's the reason this is important. If you think that the Trinity is something that you have not had any experience with or understanding of, you're going to kind of go off on a hunting trip to find interesting, neat little analogies that might kind of apply. So you'll do, an apple has a core and the flesh of the apple and the skin of the apple. And that's kind of like the Trinity. And then you'll stop and say, but of course God's not an apple and it's not very much like the Trinity. So the Trinity is kind of like water being liquid water and ice. And that's not what God's like. And people do this a lot, and it doesn't really amount to much because they don't really believe God is very much like any of these things. They're just looking for some little hook to think, how could something that is three also be something that is one? And it's a pretty fruitless exercise. When I say connect the Trinity directly as possible, here's what I mean. The eternal God, who always was Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, made himself known in the central biblical acts of the Father sending the Son and sending the Holy Spirit. This is the only part that's really hard, is if you ask what God is like, that is, what is the eternal triune God like? What would he have been like if he had never made himself known to us? What would the being of God be?